Black True Crime is a podcast that researches and discusses murders committed by Black offenders. It is a podcast that everyone and anyone is welcome to enjoy, but it's also a podcast that may not be welcomed by anyone and everyone. So listener discretion is advised. Now, without further ado, this is Black True Crime.
Into that good night.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. We're back.
We're back. Welcome to Black True Crime. And this is our first ever bonus episode. Yes, bonus episode. You're getting 2 episodes this week. So, yeah, thank me now for all my hard work.
Okay, whose shirt you got on?
My man's.
Okay.
Yeah, it's laundry day. It's laundry day. I didn't feel like it. Don't draw attention to me, Kristen.
What to say? What is that? Is that a sleeveless?
Yeah, it is. And I'm a little musty. So let's make this quick. It's been a long morning. I'm Kayla. I'm Kayla, by the way, if you don't know who I am.
And I'm Kristen, the co-host.
Yes, indeed. I'm going to have this episode available on YouTube. This is the only bonus episode that I'm going to be putting out for free. But have no fear. If you donate at any level on Patreon, you can access our bonus episodes every single month.
Any level, y'all. It's not hard.
Any level, chat. So let's just get started today. You want to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Hold on real quick. Lady, move. It's like she heard you press the record button and she came over here.
Oh, my stink.
Ugh. Go.
Also, can we talk about how adorable Kristen's head is?
You guys,
she was fully bald a year ago.
Yeah, facts. I'm getting my hair done, so I had to do a little blowout real quick.
Should I attach a picture of what you used to look like a year ago?
Sure.
Yay!
Look there, guys.
Or there. I don't know.
It's a big change. A lot has taken place.
Yes.
If you want the deets, DM me. I'll give you
I was about
routine.
to say, and I'll drop her little tag somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Bitch, I don't know. Okay, let's get started. On December 16th, 2016, the brutal murder of a beautiful young woman would take place in the doorway of the home that she shared with her family and her children. This would lead to a month-long search for the murderer and another death. Join us as we discuss the traumatic acts of Markeith Lloyd. So Markeith D. Lloyd was born on October 8th, 1975 in Orlando, Florida. Kristen, what happened in Black history on that day in history?
Okay, guys. So not often do we find stuff on the exact day that a person is born, but I did find some stuff, actually a lot of stuff that happened that year. So picture this. 1975, September 29th, WGPR TV Detroit was the first Black-owned radio station, or TV station, probably TV, in the US. And it began broadcasting in 1975. So our first Black TV station was WGPR Detroit. And it did its first airing in 1975, which I thought was pretty cool.
Super nice.
Which means that the guy who owns it, William Lloyd Banks, he immediately became the first African-American to own a television station, a Black television station. So that was cool. Another one, Wallace D. Muhammad assumes control of the Nation of Islam after the death of his father, Elijah Muhammad. He changes the organization's direction and its name to the World Community of All Islam.
Wow. Interesting.
Very interesting. And then another one, The Morehouse School of Medicine, I know some of us have heard of that, it belongs to an HBCU in Atlanta, becomes the only Black medical school established in the U.S. in the 20th century. So the first dean and president of the Morehouse School of Medicine is Dr. Louis Sullivan, who later becomes a U.S. surgeon.
Wow. Hell yeah, Louis.
And this is the closest event that actually happened to old boy's birthday, October 8th. Mm-hmm. It's on October 12th. Frankie Robinson. We all know Frankie. Hey,
hush.
Frankie.
Hush.
Frank, you hush. Frankie Robinson becomes the first Black Major League Baseball manager when he takes over the Cleveland Indians. Wow. So round of applause for all the amazing things that happened in 1975.
That is so cool.
For the Black community, period.
Thank you for that, Pooh.
Yes, thank you.
It's good to learn stuff. Okay. So he was born in Orlando, Florida, October 8th, 1975, and he grew up extremely poor. And I don't know what side of town it was because we used to live in Orlando. Oh, that came from experience. She just said that because, like I said, we used to live in Orlando and we used to have friends, like, you know, all over, and some of them live on the west side.
Yeah, the west side of Orlando is a whole different ball game.
Kristen lost her virginity on the west side.
Don't be telling my business. This is not confessions for us. Yes, y'all. I lost my virginity on the west side in the projects. Yeah, in the same room as my other friend. So just horrible.
Just horrible. That's a story time for another time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't stand you.
I love making you uncomfortable. Okay.
I cannot stand you.
So he was in the household with his mom, his dad, his 3 sisters, and his 1 brother. So there were 5 kids in total. His father used to beat his mother. Her name is Patricia. And he used to do it in front of the kids, but it didn't last too long because he died when Markeith was 3 years old. How did he die? I don't know. I would love to know.
I would hope she whooped his ass before
I
he
was
went.
about to say it. I hope she whooped his ass as he went.
And before he went.
As he was going, I hope she was whooping it.
Meaning she was the cause.
Yes,
of his death.
I was trying to be subliminal, but thank you. Markeith started skipping school from a very young age. By the time he was in 3rd grade, he couldn't read and mainly just focused on stealing food so that he and his siblings could eat. Poor baby. He said that he and his older sister were responsible for taking care of the house, and if they didn't do what they were expected, they would be beat extensively with belts and sometimes extension cords.
We know that life.
I'm about to say, we've definitely got whoopings. I've never been whooped with an extension cord. I feel like if I was whooped with an extension cord, I would grab that bitch and whoop back.
And fight.
Because that's just really like taking it there.
Like you can hear the whop with an extension cord. Not cool.
Horrible. Oh, and the welts, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, poor guy.
I also read somewhere that at some point in his childhood, he was sent to a mental institution, and I couldn't figure out like why or anything like that, but it happened.
Whoa, baby.
Right. His siblings always spoke highly of him, though, even after all the horrible things he would later do that we're going to later get to in this episode. His sister Tanya said, quote, "There were times we didn't have lights or running water in our house. So he would make sure those things were reconnected by paying those fees," which is like, that's a good big brother.
Yeah, that's a lot on his shoulders at a young age.
For sure. And how was he paying for this, you may ask?
Yeah.
He was selling drugs. He was by 16, he was known to be selling drugs and always having like money on him. When he was 16, he was beaten and presumably robbed. And according to his mom, he was beaten so badly that he looked like the Elephant Man.
Why can I hear her saying that? They beat his ass so bad, child. He looked like the Elephant Man. And probably giggled.
Oh my gosh. And then when I saw the Elephant Man, which you should go take a look at that picture.
Period.
Everyone else has already seen it because I popped it up already. I couldn't control myself. I couldn't keep myself from laughing when I saw it.
She tried it.
Yeah.
They whooped his ass.
I know. I'm like, did he had like 2 knots up here? Like, what the fuck? Good God. So yeah, that happened.
They must have kicked him straight in his head.
I know, like really, really beat him up. And this attack may have something to do with a neurologist later stating that he had, quote, brain damage. Yeah. So, yeah. Growing up, he was also traumatized by seeing one of his friends and his cousin murdered in front of him. So just overall, it just was not an ideal childhood. Heavily toxic. He had to grow up super quick. He received little to no education. And all he really had was his street smarts. So,
yep. And it's sad because like we've heard this story so many times, like
repetitive. Yes.
Not even on this podcast. It's just sometimes it's the life people live. It really sucks.
Yes. Yes. Markeith had 2 children, a son named Markeith Lloyd Jr. and a daughter named Kiana Lloyd. Kiana was obsessed with her dad. Okay. Like she was extremely close to him because even when she was young, she wasn't really close to her mom. So she just spent literally almost all her time with her dad. She also recalled that she thought her dad was rich when she was little because he always had money. She said, quote, "There was nothing I needed that I didn't have. He was just like the greatest thing ever," end quote.
It's that drug money, child.
And he even had a great relationship with her daughter, which was, his grandbaby. And she said she felt like he loved the baby more than her sometimes, which I feel like that's how it goes.
I would say that's an amazing grandfather, if that's the case.
Like, that's how it goes. Markeith Jr. struggled a lot more in life and even spent time in a mental institution because he suffers from schizophrenia. I
wonder if that's genetic.
Schizophrenia. You know what? I think it may have play a part. I think it's like experience too, but it could be genetic because, my man, his brother has schizophrenia and he feels like it happened after something that happened in his life, like it was a formative time and he just didn't adjust well, or he may have gotten a hold of some type of substance that wasn't good, like maybe like K2, something like that. Yeah. But who knows?
And then on the flip side, my friend from college, she had schizophrenia. Well, we didn't know if she had schizophrenia, but she definitely acted crazy. But her brother for sure had schizophrenia and their mom dealt with schizophrenia.
Yeah.
So I guess you really, just have both sides. It could be genetic.
Lord help them. That's all I can say. Because schizophrenia doesn't sound like it's anything to fucking play with.
Hell no. Hell no. Imagine hearing somebody in your head telling you to do things.
Right? Oh, I couldn't even imagine.
Actually, I feel like I do hear that. But nothing like crazy. Like not trying to like... Okay. That voice in my head is me. So it's not like it's somebody else.
Okay.
Right.
Please. Yeah. Look at you. You look confused. We'll talk about this later.
Yeah, we'll have to dig into that, y'all.
You're creeping me out. Okay. Ew. What are you on this call today?
I'm feeling myself because I gotta blow out.
I'm cracking up. With these huge ass earrings on. I'm here for it. So Markeith Sr. was no stranger to being locked up. Stop smiling at me like that.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Okay. He had been arrested over 20 times within 20 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's like once a year, like a birthday.
Literally. And it started in 1994. His charges ranged from cocaine possession to weapons charges, from battery to even murder. So he was charged with a murder in 1996, but the charges were later dropped. In 1998, he was convicted for the battery of an Orlando police officer named Todd Herb and was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison. Todd Herb said that Markeith punched him in the face and then just kept hitting and punching him. I believe it.
Me too. Like, what the heck? No
Look at this man. Look at that man, for God's sakes. He doesn't look stable. Like I would probably cross the street if I saw him walking down it. Like, what? Am I racist?
I was just about to say, are you prejudiced?
Listen.
No, bitch, you're smart. You have street sense.
I'm about to say situational prejudice is a thing and it can save your life. Take that to the bank.
You're going to get so much hate for that.
And you can take that to the bank, bitch. Give that hate to your mammy, ho, not me.
That's just like if you saw a white dude with a hoodie on acting real crazy. Cross the mother effing street.
I'm crossing the street.
White, black, Asian, cross the street.
Self-preservation, like, you know, if you look sketchy, I'm going to assume you are. And that's just being human.
It is. Actually, yes, it is.
Okay. According to his mother, before his prison stint, he was helpful and would give money to anyone who needed it. But after he got out, he was a different man. She said, quote, "He don't believe that God has a son. He don't eat meat. And it's strange. It wasn't anything that I was brought up on that I raised him on."
Sounds like Islam.
Yeah, I think he may have
converted.
Yeah, you know, found some religion and yeah.
A different religion, because it seems like he was a Christian at first.
Right. Raised that way, at least. Yeah. Markeith later claimed that someone in prison tried to kill him. And I have no more information about that.
I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that happened.
I'm sure. Yeah.
How do you not go to prison and expect someone not to try to kill you?
I don't know. I wouldn't do that. I feel like I'd be asking for it. Well, you know, like asking for the problems, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I went to prison and didn't expect someone to try me, I felt like I'd be asking for them to try me.
Oh, okay. Facts.
He also spent some time in prison in 2014. And some things didn't change, though, because before prison and after, Markeith was hella into himself, as you can see from the pictures. He was very like into his image and his physique. You know, he looks jail jacked. You know how you get jail jacked? Yeah, he's definitely jail jacked.
Nothing better to do.
Yes. On Facebook, you can get an even better sense of his ego because he would post things like, quote, "When you talk about the greatest, don't forget me." Lord Jesus. And in November 2016, he posted, quote, "Goals to be on America's Most Wanted." Like, who says that?
Who are you? You have no ambition. Actually, you do have ambition. It's just it's the wrong place.
And fast forward to a month later, Markeith would be on the run from authorities after committing the brutal murder of someone very close to him. So he's headed in the right direction for what he claims he wants.
Like, at least murder somebody you don't know. Why are you murdering your own peoples? Tell me.
Get these hands. That's what I want to do. Get these hands. So here we go. My heart is in my booty hole. In 2016, Markeith was dating 24-year-old Sade Dixon, and things seemed to be going, you know, pretty well for the most part in their relationship.
Love her name.
Me too. And the spelling, because her parents knew what they were doing. Markeith claimed that he took care of her financially and even paid for her to take real estate classes so she could get her license. which I think is, that's really nice. If that's the truth, that's really nice.
Way to support.
Right. In early 2016, Sade became pregnant with his baby. I feel like we all kind of know, well, we all have at least seen like, okay, the relationship's fine, right? And then like, boom, pregnancy. And then the relationship is trash, or like he just like dips out or he just turns into this fucking monster.
Mm-hmm. Switch up.
Yeah. And they started having problems. On December 13th, 2016, Sade and Markeith were fighting. And this is according to Markeith. They were fighting about him lying to her lying to him, saying that she would quit smoking weed and eating meat while she was pregnant. And he also accused her of being unfaithful.
Oh, Lord. While she's pregnant?
Isn't it just amazing when a man tries to tell a woman what to do with her body? Isn't that just so sexy, Kristen?
Honestly, it's annoying as hell. It's that male ego, it's like, okay, I own you now, so you do what I say.
Right. Like that's my baby and you. So I run this shit. You know what I'm
like
saying?
You can give me advice, but at the end of the day, you don't control anything over here.
Right. I get the smoking weed part.
I mean, yeah.
But like, like the eating meat, like piss off, sir.
But like I said, like you can give advice. Like you can say, babe, I would really want you to not do this for the health of our baby.
Yeah.
But you don't slap a bit if she chooses to not do what you say.
And maybe he was so upset because like he said, she lied, like she lied and said that she was doing it, but wasn't. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, fuck off. I can lie to you about what's going on with my body. Anyway.
It shows everything about my integrity. So that ain't got shit to do with you.
I'm about to say nothing to do with you. Oh shit. That's true. I felt
crazy.
So he accused her of being unfaithful and she accused him of the same, which she was probably right. Mm-hmm. Let's be real. And Markeith said she texted him, quote, "Don't expect no baby." Oops. Mm-hmm. Which he interpreted as her saying she was going to get an abortion.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
So I would have thought like, don't expect no baby as in like, but you're not going to be my baby's life. That's what I would think. But I can understand why he would think.
Absolutely.
Whatever. That's when he claims he headed to her house. And at this house, she lived with her mom, her dad, her 2 brothers, and then her 2 children. She had a 5 and a 7-year-old at the time. So he goes over to the house and they immediately start arguing outside. And Markeith claims that Sade pulled a gun on him, which he then took from her and stored it with the 2 guns that he'd brought with him. Yeah. You bring 2 fucking guns to somebody's house. Like,
it's
you're
like,
asking for trouble.
He probably had them bitches in the car. So I ain't even like upset that he had 2 guns on him.
I'm upset.
But why? Wait a minute. She's pulled a gun out on him. What type of gangster girl is this? Like,
I fuck with her for that.
I need to know who
However, we'll get there. But
violence begets violence.
Yes. We don't condone anyone pulling a fucking gun on anyone.
Disclaimer.
But also, she's about
respect
that life,
her.
And I fuck with her. Right. So he then claims that Sade's brother, Ronald, his name is Ronald Stewart, came outside to check on them. And after arguing with Markeith, just decided to attack him. And that's when Markeith claims he accidentally shot Ronald in the scuffle and thinking that Ronald had grabbed one of the guns that Markeith had, because I don't think it was in his car. I think it was like, he had them like on his person, Mm-hmm. So he felt like he dropped one of those guns and Ronald had grabbed it. And that's just when he went into, quote, warrior mode. And that's what his defense team would later say, who I could fucking box up. And he just started shooting in self-defense at everyone he possibly could. Because, her family was there. So obviously they hear the commotion. Yeah. They come to walk outside, and see what's going on.
This is why I don't want no hood man. I don't want no hood man. If you can't put the hood away and leave the streets, don't come over here.
If you are like a gun fanatic, like if you feel powerful holding a gun, I just don't want you near me at all. Like, I just
about
don't.
warrior mode. How you going warrior mode on your own so-called peoples? Like,
Right.
Relax.
Over an argument, like take a pill and chill.
Mm-hmm.
Sir. But according to prosecutors and other witnesses present, Ronald never attacked Markeith, and Markeith only started shooting once Sade and Ronald started walking back in the house after they told him to leave.
Now that makes more mother effing sense, because she sounded like she got some sense. She lived with her parents instead of living with this fool.
Right. And who knows how he was living. And even with her parents, it's like, I don't feel like she would pull a gun on this man in the yard, her parents' yard, where when her two children are in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just fucking lying.
Wow.
Sade and her unborn baby were shot 8 times and they died from their injuries. Ronald was taken to the hospital and listed as being in critical condition, but thank God he survived. So because witness statements named Markeith as the shooter, and when the police talked to Ronald, they're like, yeah, he shot me. Police were actively searching for him. Sade's father said, quote, "We don't want nobody retaliating, keeping it real for the hood because the hood ain't bringing my child back." Period. Period.
So true.
Fuck the hood, honestly.
Right, because the hood is what did this.
Yeah.
The hood, he is a product of the hood.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying everybody comes out like that, but just saying, like, this is what you're going to get in the hood. Yeah. Where people have to literally fight to survive. Yeah. Kill and rob and all that extra shit.
For, like, minuscule reasons. Yeah.
Wow.
After the shooting, Markeith even texted Sade saying, quote, "Don't know if you're going to make it. Hope you don't. You caused this." That's like the worst part of this case for him to really, I mean, obviously them dying at all is that's horrible. 8 times. She was shot 8 times, but to even go out of your way to text her after you know you've like almost unloaded a clip on her and her family, you know, you're going to text that. You belong like
under the jail
on your way to hell.
Wow. I have no words for that. That's sick. That pisses me off.
2 days later, on December 15th, 2016, Markeith's niece, Lakeisha Smith Lloyd, appeared on WFTV pleading with Markeith to turn himself into police. His son, Markeith Jr., who was in jail himself at this time, even made a public plea to his father asking him to turn himself in. But Markeith never did.
Markeith's like, fuck y'all. Like,
why would I turn myself in?
Right. You already locked up, so you ain't got shit for me. Like, what? I'm gonna see you in a bit anyway.
Like, you know. Either way, I'm gonna end up in there. I'm gonna try to stay out as long as I can.
Right.
Terrible. He was on the run for about 23 days.
Wow.
Yes, before he killed again. On Monday, January 9th, 2017, at around 7:15 a.m., police officer Deborah Clayton was arriving at a Walmart just south of Royal Oaks and Pineview Apartments. And she was just doing a little shopping, I'm assuming either before or after her shift. And while she was shopping, she unknowingly walked past Markeith Lloyd, who was shopping as well. He was wearing like a security vest thingy with some like camo pants. He even got into the same checkout line as her. But once he realized, oh, she's a cop, he went and checked out on like the other side of the store.
Okay, so he didn't know.
At first, I guess.
I mean, how do you not know? Does she have her uniform on?
Kristen, she was in full blues. like she was doing? Dressed down.
How
only missing the hat. We'll get there. We'll get there to how he's lasted so long.
Mm-hmm.
After checking out, Deborah walked back to her car and a woman approached her saying that she recognized Markeith from TV and that he was leaving the store. So I just want you guys to watch these two witnesses describe what they saw that day.
Came out the store. I just sat in the car. It was cold that morning, and I was just warming the car up, putting water on my windshield. And that's when I seen Officer Deborah come out to her truck. She parks right in front of the store. And I was just sitting there, and I saw a chick walk up to her. And I physically heard her tell her, the dude that killed that pregnant girl is right there in the store. He's getting ready to come out. And Miss Deborah, as she's walking towards the store, that's when I heard her say, "Hey, you." And to me, all hell broke loose. And I stood up. That's when I stood up when I heard her say, "Hey, you." And I literally watched Markeith Lloyd. All I seen was him run around the post, and I seen him pull his gun out, and they were shooting at each other like a Western movie. Miss Deborah, I want to say, let off about 6 to 7 shots. I don't know exactly. It was crazy that morning. And Mr. Markeith pretty much was trying to unload his gun on her. He was really trying to get rid of her, like it was something personal. And then all of a sudden, I see Miss Deborah fall. I guess that's when she must have called, "I got shot," or something on her radio, on her walkie-talkie. She was on her back. And as I got ready to run over there, Markeith Lloyd just kept shooting at this lady while she's on the ground. So I'm looking at her body literally jumping off the ground from bullets, of course. He's unloading. He shot at her at least 5 or 6 more times as she's on the ground. And I just took off running. If Markeith Lloyd would have turned around, he'd have shot me. That's how close I was to her.
I came out right there on the side, and the officer walked by me. The young lady that's over there talking to the other officer had approached her and told her that there was a guy in there that was wanted for a crime. And
it was a female officer?
It was a female officer.
So you were in there when this guy was shot, a regular looking dude? Just
yes,
an average looking?
The average looking dude. He walked by me. He had a security vest on and everything. He just walked right by me. And I came out next to the side. I'm walking down the side, right past the officer. I heard her tell him to stop or whatever. He shot her. He shot her down, and he took off running. I mean, it is unreal. I never expected nothing like this. I just stopped to get a headlight, and I see a shooting, man. He didn't have to do that. The officer just asked him to stop.
You gotta be mother effing kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
No remorse.
Nope.
Just killing. Just shooting to kill. Talking about warrior mode. Fuck out of here. You want to be a warrior? Go to Afghanistan. Go fight for our country. Don't fight against us. You pissing me off.
Right?
And I know he thought he was like, this is like some movie shit. Like, I'm not like, he ain't playing. Like, he's literally in it to win it type stuff, and kept shooting at her while she's on the ground. That's sick.
That's fucking disgusting. And you can tell he wanted her to die.
He wanted her dead. Wow. I don't know how to process things like that. Like, it's just so insane. The fact that somebody would actually do that.
Yeah.
Just no respect for life at all.
Nope. Deborah was shot 9 times. Markeith was able to flee the scene on foot initially and was later seen in a red Honda Civic. So police are now clearly going apeshit to find this maniac, and even went as far as to shut 13 schools down in the area. Because they were like, we don't know what he's going to do. We don't know what he's planning, and we know he's around here. So we need to
And he got kids. Like, he might try. Well, actually, he doesn't have kids. He does have kids.
He has 2 older. You know, they're older, though.
Okay.
So they're not in school. Mm-hmm. Police were hot on Markeith's ass, too. He reportedly shot at a sheriff's deputy vehicle and got away after stealing a car. An officer involved in the search named Norman Lewis was on his motorcycle and was killed when a van turned in front of him. That's how Bear died. Someone really close to us, he passed away because a van like cut him off and then ended up like flipping on top of him. As a motorcyclist, please be careful, you guys.
Please be mother effing careful.
Norman was only 35 years old. He was described as a gentle giant, and he used to play football at UCF before joining the force in 2006.
Go Knights.
Go Knights.
I'm so sad.
Yeah. $100,000 reward was offered for information leading to Markeith's arrest, and he was also added to the FBI's most wanted list.
And that's what he wanted.
He wanted America's most wanted, but I think FBI's is better because, whatever.
Ugh, he makes me sick.
On January 11th, Markeith's niece, LaKensha, the one that went on TV begging him to turn himself in, and two other people, her ex-girlfriend, Jameis Slaughter, and Markeith's former boss, Zargi Mayan. What are these names? All three were arrested for helping Markeith evade police.
So the same niece.
Turn yourself in. Also, you're hiding in my basement. Ridiculous.
Full of shit. Full of it.
But unfortunately, the charges were later dropped against all three of them, and they didn't serve any jail time for it. On any real jail time. I'm sure they were in, jail for a little while until they were able to get bail or whatever. On January 13th, 2017, the police obtained multiple warrants allowing them to tap Markeith's burner phones. So when they were able to tap his phones, they were able to more triangulate where he was, because obviously he was still texting people, acting like shit was sweet.
Shit is sweet. Like he thought he was the king of Orlando.
Right. Fucking asshole. Were we living in Orlando during this time? No, we were living in Tampa. On January 17th, 2017, at around 7 p.m., Markeith was found in an abandoned house at 1157 Lescott Lane and was beat the fuck down by the arresting officers. I mean, I don't know if I put enough pictures on here. I'm probably just going to have to add more. He looked toe up. They kicked him. They punched him. They beat him. They jumped on him. They kneed him. He's missing. His eye is fucked forever. So
they got their vengeance.
Oh, for sure.
Like, this is one of the times I'm just like, vengeance. Like at this point, yes, vengeance is the Lord's, but somebody needs to beat his ass. Period.
Yeah. He shot her 8-9 times? Like,
while she's on
what
the
is
ground.
wrong with you? On the ground already. No
and
need.
then you talk about you famous, you a legend. You got your fame off of killing your girlfriend and her baby. Like, do you really think you're cute and then murdering a female cop? Like,
he said, oh, when they're talking about the greatest, mention me. That was before he did all this. But he probably still thinks that he's the greatest. So still applies.
Like, his ego is lit.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if they beat his ass before or after they put handcuffs on him, but regardless, he was cuffed with Deborah's, her cuffs. So it's just like a little bit of added, justice.
And I get it. Like in other instances, you would never want that to happen, especially if someone is unarmed or, was only doing some dumb shit like stealing a pack of cigarettes. Like, you wouldn't want nobody to get beat down.
No.
But in this case, like, this man killed 2 women and an unborn child. I want him to get beat down.
Like, doing his best to unload the clip on these women. Like, how fucking big and bad are you to really be trying to attack these women? Lord help me.
When a person has no respect for life, somebody needs to give him respect for at least his own life by
shove some respect up his ass. Exactly. At the time of his arrest, he had $200 cash on him, and he was not unarmed. He had those 2 guns with him, and I think it had one of them had a drum, bitch.
Wow. Like, he was ready for a fight.
Yeah. Which is completely ridiculous, but whatever. Once police put him in an interrogation room, after a while, he started spilling his tea. So listen to his version of what happened.
Okay, who pulled the gun on you? Sade or her brother?
Sade pulled the gun on me.
When?
What you mean when?
When the brother came out? When?
Before brother even came out.
You guys were talking outside?
Yeah, we were talking outside when the younger brother got dropped off, all that.
And he went inside?
Come up shooting, that's a fucking lie.
That's not how I wrote it.
Hell no, and I fucking broke up with her. If you take the check, if you check the fucking text message.
I did.
I wasn't tripping off her. She the one was tripping. So I'm lying her saying I want a fucking family with her, which I did, but we can't have what you lying. So other than that, I wasn't tripping by shit. That wasn't me.
Right, so she pulled the gun on you, you had to do, what did you do?
I disowned her.
You took it from her?
Yeah.
And what did you do with her gun?
I put it in my back pocket, but when her brother jumped me, I guess it had to fall out.
You fall out. And when did you take your gun out?
While me and him was cussing.
That the older brother, Ronald, right?
Yeah.
You know him as Ronald?
The older brother, yeah.
Okay. Who did you shoot first, him or her?
Man.
Him? Because he was on you?
They know what's going on. I talked to my lawyer because y'all just beat me up, but you want me to talk to you though.
He said, man, I want to talk to my lawyer because y'all just beat me up, but you want me to talk to you.
And nobody in that room beat him up. Like the people that arrested him are not the people that are interviewing him right now. So
But
there
he's
is a
like,
difference,
y'all as
but
in the whole
yeah,
organization.
yeah, he deserved it. Shut the fuck up. Like you deserved it.
I'm cracking up. How you gonna have some indignification, dude? Are you serious?
Y'all beat me up. I don't like
You
how I've been
understand what he
treated.
just did.
Yeah.
But no, they whooped his behind. Like it looked like part of his cheek, like the skin here was completely off.
Yeah.
Like you saw like meat almost.
Mhm.
Yeah,
like
that
they were
was
just
bad.
taking his face and just like dragging it up against the ground. Yeah. So long bullshit story short, meaning his bullshit story. He was charged with the aggravated murder of Sade Dixon and her unborn baby. And with Florida being a death penalty state, he was facing the death penalty.
Mm.
On March 1st, 2017, Markeith insisted on acting as his own counsel. Fucking idiot.
Stupid.
On March 16th, the newly elected Ninth Circuit State Attorney, Aramis Ayala, announced her intent to not seek the death penalty against anyone while she was in office, including Markeith. And the very next day, Governor Rick Scott removed Ayala from the case and appointed State Attorney Brad King to prosecute it instead.
He said, that's not what you're here for.
Yeah.
Okay. We have this death penalty for a reason. Get out.
Yeah. Literally get out.
Rick was not playing with her or anybody else.
Also, Rick is the worst, so we don't support.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah. So Brad King was appointed, and then he immediately reversed Ayala's decision and will now be going for the death penalty for both cases because he's getting tried for the murder of Sade and the murder of Deborah separately.
Mm-hmm.
Ayala tried to fight the ruling, but unfortunately, Rick's decision was upheld. I mean, it's unfortunate based on how you look at it. If you're pro death penalty, it's fortunate. If you're not, it's unfortunate.
Right.
On April 17th, Markeith changed his mind about representing himself, and after switching counsel, received defense attorney Terrence Linneman as his lead counsel. So this whole time, Markeith is in prison, from the time he gets arrested in, what month was that? January. He gets arrested in January all the way until April 17th. He's in jail, and he's been getting visits and being able to talk to all his family members and stuff. And I just want you guys to just listen and watch this man talk about himself and the murders. Play the clip.
I've been a good man. Write me a book. Write you one. Get some money. Everybody else trying to get paid off my name. Let me use my own.
You nationwide. Everybody know you. You worldwide. Everybody know you.
I'm worldwide now. I've been nationwide. This stuff like you lied to me. Somebody you want a family with me. I'm with your baby. You gotta write the baby. So she the one was tripping, not me. Cause I'll leave a motherfucker that's going on about my business. You would have hit me.
So you already know, fool.
I was in the woods. I was everywhere. I was sleeping out on the bus stops.
What?
Yep. I was doing everything right to stay out there. I was working my ass off and doing right.
He said he was doing everything right, doing right, and everything went wrong.
This is crazy. Getting involved with the wrong people.
Oh my gosh. Makes me sick. And then his family is sitting there just yes manning him.
Them
talking about we would have hid you.
They just look like two stupid fucking women. I don't even care if the child, fuck the child. Honestly, I'm going to say that because it's like, if you know that wrong has been done, you know what I'm saying? Like what there's a difference between loving someone still after they've done some terrible things and like supporting the things that they've done and their behavior. And these women are supporting what he's doing. And it's just the dumbest females in this case.
Absolutely. Like the niece, like at this point, who is the older one here? Because the older woman looks like she's not saying anything when she should.
That's his baby mom's.
That's his baby mama's.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a hot mess.
Yeah.
A hot mess. I just can't. Either way, niece, sit down. You don't even know what you're talking about.
That wasn't the niece. That was
Who
his daughter.
Is the little girl?
His daughter. The niece got arrested. She can't go visit him. Like if you helped them escape and stuff like that, which we know that they did, you can't go to the prison and visit.
Okay. Well, I don't like the two, whoever they are, the daughter and the baby moms. They're sitting there egging him on as if he did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
To the point where he's saying, I was doing right. I just got involved with the wrong people. You did it all on your own.
You're the wrong people. You're the one that entered people's lives and destroyed it. Whatever. So opening statements started on October 11, 2019. The trial only lasted 5 days. But in that time span, just about any and everybody that knew Markeith and Sade testified. The most important witnesses were the people that were actually present at the time of the shooting, which were Sade's parents and her two brothers. And somehow in those 5 days, 2 jurors had to be removed and replaced during the trial. I think one juror overheard like a conversation with another juror and Orange County police, and they were talking about gun laws because, you know, guns were involved in the case. So I just think it was just like, you're not supposed to be talking about this. You're out. So I don't know the details of it, but they're gone.
Yeah, they probably didn't want anything to jeopardize a conviction.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Whatever.
Get a mistrial. The defense wanted to focus on mitigating factors, aka childhood trauma, mental disabilities, things like that. And they had a few different doctors testify. Dr. Michael Scott Mayer testified, quote, "The individual is dealing with a situation to which a normal person might make them a little anxious." This person, they wrote this fucked up. "They are terrified or frightened for their life. In Loyd's case, he doesn't have a choice of what his brain could do." He also said that PTSD and delusions played into the reaction that he had when he pulled out the gun and started shooting.
Which time? Which case is this?
We're talking about Sade's case.
Okay.
And the prosecution was like, no. Just because Markeith claims that a gun was pulled on him first doesn't mean that's actually what happened. Right. And since we know from the witnesses that's not what happened, his PTSD and delusion-based reaction would not have applied in this case. AKA, there's no reason for him to have like that reaction of, oh, let me protect myself in the most violent way possible, because his life was not being threatened. The prosecution also asked if Markeith met the criteria for being legally insane, to which the doctor replied, no. So I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about. Like, what's the point of having this conversation?
Which is what the prosecution is thinking.
Literally, he's literally like, no further questions after like he said no. Marvin Dunn, a historian and the former chairman of Florida International University's psychology department, so that's FIU, he testified that Markeith's history of mental illness combined with his paranoia led him to believe Lloyd was psychotic. Dr. Joseph Sesta, a neuropsychologist, testified that Markeith told him he feels like people were targeting him like he was a character in The Matrix.
Oh my gosh.
So basically you could speaking about, yes. So basically you can pay these doctors to say any the fuck in like literally anything because none of this makes sense. I'm like, I don't think go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like you're always gonna have somebody who has an opposite opinion because there's always going to be somebody advocating for these criminals because they always see them as victims. Mm-hmm. Someone's always going to say what's going on in the mind is justifies somebody's actions.
Yeah.
Always going to be somebody like that out there.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it right.
No, it definitely does not make it right. And I just feel like people should hold themselves at a higher standard because especially that's why people don't think psychology is a science because it definitely can be subjective. Like it's, you know what I'm saying? Like you could have one experience with this person and this person is seeming like they have these certain symptoms and then you attribute it to a certain diagnosis, but then the next moment, you know, he's acting completely different. And it's like, well, that just completely negates my last diagnosis. And we saw that with the Nico Jenkins case.
Yeah.
He had like 1,700 different diagnoses. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Don't come for me.
Which either way just means he was a massive manipulator. And where is that going to take place? Where are the lies and the manipulation? How are you going to account for that in psychology? You know what I'm saying? Like hook somebody. No, we already know lie detector tests don't even work anymore.
No, you can't even use that in court. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a mess.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Markeith decides to take the stand and tell his side of the story. He told jurors about how one time he and Sade were joking around and she pulled a gun on him. He said, quote, she pulled out the pistol and I was like, you're tripping. We were live on Facebook, end quote. He also talked about his background and lifestyle. He said, quote, I don't eat meat. I don't believe in death, so I don't believe in killing God's creations. So meat, God made animals, just like he makes us. We're all the same flesh and blood, so I don't eat flesh and blood, end quote.
So why are you killing flesh and blood?
I have no idea. You don't believe in death, but people die.
And you don't believe you were the one who killed them.
That's what I'm saying. Krista, I cannot wrap my brain around this. You say this in one breath, and then the next breath, well, I killed because I was being, attacked or I was
in warrior mode. Like, you know,
I don't know why his fucking team decided to let him go on that stand. One look at him. I'm like, he did it.
He did it.
He did it. When the jury or when the prosecution or whoever the fuck was questioning him asked why he was carrying the guns. No, they asked him why he was carrying the guns, even though he is a convicted felon and legally cannot carry guns. And he said it was for protection since he'd been robbed twice at gunpoint while working as a fast food delivery driver. So I can understand.
AKA
I can understand if that's true.
Driver.
Thank you. Hasn't held down a real job in his life.
And like, don't do that. Like, he's such a liar. He's been lying this whole time. Literally. Hold up for some food, for some fast food. Come on. We're not.
He's been lying about everything.
Which is not. Why did you even ask him the question? He was gonna lie.
Yeah. He also said he experienced, listen to this, racism as a child. And his defense team suggested that it was definitely a mitigating factor and urged them to consider giving him life instead of the death penalty.
Kayla, he killed Black people.
What the fuck? We saying? Does racism have to do with
he was better off supporting, or what did they call it?
representing himself.
He was better off representing himself. Because like you're grasping for every little tree and branch you can find. It's not gonna work.
This case is going just as bad as if he was representing himself. For his attorney to even be like, okay, give him life instead of the death penalty, that already shows defeat. I see the defeat in your eyes. You knew you were going to lose before you walked in the door 5 days ago.
Because he did it. Like nobody's going to, you can't argue that he didn't do it. He clearly did it.
Yeah.
So, I guess he was saying, well, we know he killed 2 people. Or in this case, just 1 and a baby.
And then texted her and texted her about killing her. Like it's right. Just, and how do you explain
that contribute to PTSD? Absolutely
no. Fucking idiot. All these people are idiots. I always say, if you're a defense attorney, I don't want anything to do with you.
I don't envy you. That's a fact.
You chose this. You're the one that you caused this.
The thing that sucks though, I know some DAs, like when they were first like trying to do it, they're probably just wanting to help people. Yeah. But look at where you are now.
Yeah. You don't really have a choice all the time of what cases you take.
Of who you support. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. On October 16th, 2019, after deliberating for less than 6 hours, the jury found Markeith Lloyd guilty on all counts in the murder of Sade Dixon and her unborn baby.
Period.
Yep. So now we just have to get to sentencing. As we know, the prosecution wants the death penalty, and so does shit Rick Scott. But the defense is doing anything they can to stop that. Terrence Lenneman, I love that, Lenneman, said that Markeith's traumatic childhood experiences, his history of mental health, and the fact that he has a significant delusional disorder, which is like, what is the significant delusional disorder? You guys have not named any specific diagnoses for this man.
You can't name it.
You're just throwing stuff out there. Just throwing stuff out there. So all of those reasons are reasons that his life should be spared. His mom, sisters, and brothers, they all spoke on his behalf in court, begging for the jury to spare his life. And the jury agreed. They decided to give him life without parole instead of the death penalty. Mm-hmm. Now he's still facing trial for the murder of Deborah Clayton and was supposed to have a hearing in May 2020, but because of COVID, it got pushed back to who the fuck knows when. And he is still facing the death penalty for that case. So he ain't off yet.
Okay. They gonna get him for this police officer. Watch.
Oh, they're gonna hang him. They're gonna hang him. And that's our case.
Oh, shake it off.
Take it off, man. I decided to do this case because I did like a little tiny just post about it on TikTok and Instagram. And just a little that I read, I was like, I have to like find out more about this shit bag. And yeah, I'm glad I did because wow.
That was a hot mess.
For sure.
All I heard was ego, narcissism. Didn't get enough whoopings when he was young. There was a lot going on in there. And it's not what?
Go ahead. I was about to say he didn't get the right kind of whoopings in the sense of like whoopings with love. Like we got whoopings with love most of the time. And but I just think it was the streets. The streets turned him into a monster. And this is me. I'm saying this not even knowing who his dad was, because we know things are, hereditary. So he could have gotten his terrible attitude and, towards society from his dad. But who knows?
Or the lack of a dad, could have really contributed to why he behaves that way.
Absolutely.
That was insane. I hated every bit of it.
It's not one of the worst ones we've done, but it definitely, definitely
you just look at him like, who are you?
Right. Like, who do you think you are?
Who didn't tell you about yourself when you were younger?
Oh, he experienced racism as a child. Are you joking? Are
Is
you
that
joking?
a joke? Is that a
Everybody
literal
in
joke?
everybody in their damn mama has experienced racism, but you don't see me out here in court trying to use that as an excuse after I killed Black people. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. It makes no sense. Ciao.
I'm out for the count.
Ciao.
Did you not even think about that before you went in the courtroom to suggest that this has something to do with it? Look at the victims.
Kristen,
They're Black.
Kristen, I blame his defense team.
These people
should know what the, and they don't. Clearly didn't.
That was sad.
And even in the little video, like, you can see his defense attorneys like patting him on this, the shoulder. And I'm like, don't pat me. Like, you knew I was gonna lose. You guys did nothing to help my case. Nothing. Get off of me.
I was a lost cause when you
Get
took
out.
the doggone case. Wow.
Just terrible. So yes, you guys, let us know what you thought about that case. Thank you for checking out our first bonus episode, and hopefully you get to check out more of them in the future over on Patreon.
Yeah, for sure.
Stay safe, protect your peace, and protect your space. Now I can say goodbye to you guys. Bye.
Bye.
You have a right to kill me. I have a right to do that. But you have no right to judge me.